All right. My name is Kim Danke. I am your fast track instructor, and today is day one of your 7-day fast track. We have 7 days to kind of learn this program, help you shorten your learning curve on knowing what to do and learning our website, which is absolutely amazing. And we just welcome you here so very, very much. This PowerPoint that I am going to go over tonight, you are going to have access to this shortly after this live webinar. So don't feel like you need to take screenshots of it or anything like that unless you just want to, but you will have access to it later. So what I'd like for you to do is to, if you're taking notes, take those notes. If you are, and just focus in on what I'm saying. And I will be telling you some answers tonight that I'm going to ask you tomorrow night on our day 2 of part 2 of our webinar. And I want to make sure that you know to write those down because I'm going to ask you those tomorrow and it's going to be important. So first of all, welcome to the Shibboleth lifestyle. This is your overview, and I love the word lifestyle. Do you know that I had no idea what the concept of a lifestyle was when I started Shibboleth? Had no idea. I totally understand the concept of a lifestyle now, and I hope to help other people realize what that is. So we're going to go over each slide. And what I like to do tonight is I like to just explain to you the terminology that you are going to hear when you are, or read, when you're reading the Facebook posts, or if you're looking at our website, the terminology that you're going to read. So those are the things that I want you to understand, because when you are learning a new lifestyle, you do need to be fully aware of the terminology that is used. So that's what I do. This week is me just boiling this down to the basics for you. And I hope that I boil it down so simply that you completely understand how you have a perfect day and how you get the results that you are after. We are geared towards helping you get the results that you want. So in Shibboleth, there are 2 modes. There's either weight loss mode or maintenance mode. And in my mind, there's only 3 differences between those 2 modes. One of those is the number of holidays that you can use in a calendar month. Number 2 is how you eat fruit. And number 3 is your mindset. And that will shift and change so many times over your journey. And they're going to be important mind shifts. So enjoy them when they happen and try to recognize them as they come along. There are 2 types of days on Shibboleth. You either have a perfect day or a holiday. Now, there's going to be many choices of a perfect day in your drop-down menu in your journal. I really don't want you to get overwhelmed by that. I don't even want you to concern yourself with that at this time. We are really only concerned with the 2 days, perfect or holiday. Those other days are there for you as you continue to advance in your lifestyle and in this journey. But right now, we're only talking perfect days and holidays, and they are both parts of the program. If you have questions while I'm talking, please ask them, and then I will come back and answer them, but I get on a roll and get talking. So how many holidays are allowed? When you are in weight loss mode, you can use up to 6 holidays in a calendar month. In maintenance mode, you can use up to 12 holidays in a calendar month. Now, I want you to understand that weight loss mode is not the mode that you should be in for the rest of your life. Weight loss mode is the mode that you want to use to get the results that you're looking for, and then you get to live in maintenance mode for the rest of your life. So I want you to understand that. I also want to do a little explanation on the 6 holidays, because right now, today, I'm grabbing my calendar, today is September 13th, all right? We already 13 days into September. And if you're just now getting started, you've probably already had 6 holidays this month, right? I mean, because there were 12 days before today. So in my mind, I would say that you really don't get any more holidays this month because you've already had them all, because it's in a calendar month you get those. So, you know, you might have to assess that for yourself, but personally, I wouldn't take any. of myself. And then when I got to October, I would have a look at that and kind of, I have some strategies on how you should do holidays. I'll quickly tell you those strategies. But what I like to do when I look at a holiday is I check my whole calendar for the month. Let's just talk about October. I'll look at October. I will ask myself these questions. Am I going out of town? And if I am, I'll mark those dates down because I might want to have those as a holiday. The next question is there a birthday or an anniversary that I want to celebrate during that month? If there are, I mark those days down. Then I say, is there anything else going on in the month that I want to be aware of where I might want to have a holiday? I mark those days down. And if there's more than 6 of those, I have to pick and choose which ones I'm going to have. But it's a great exercise to do at the first of every month so that you are aware of what you're doing. Now, if you want to play with your holidays and say, well, I'm going to have one on Saturday because of this, but I really want one today because of this, now I'm not going to have one on Saturday, you can play around with those, but at least you have come to an awareness of what you're trying to do. So in weight loss mode, you can use up to 6 holidays in a calendar month. In maintenance mode, you can use up to 12 holidays in a calendar month. I'm going to give you the secret to being able to have 12 holidays in a calendar month, because you might be thinking, dang, how could I have 12 holidays in a calendar month and still keep the results that I had achieved? It's because your other days have to be truly perfect days. They can't turn into okay days. These okay days got us to where we needed to turn around and go back the other way. So they need to be truly perfect days, not sliding into okay days. Hope that makes sense. Okay, how do I have a perfect day? You have a perfect day when you follow the 5 components of the Shibboleth shield. Now, you just heard me say Shibboleth. You've probably also heard people say Shibboleth. Either way is fine. And if you are in the Shibboleth new member fast track group, pinned up at the top, or Mark has an announcement, there is a video of Travis talking about the origins of Shibboleth. I really want y'all to watch that so that you know his heart and where the name came from. So I think it's important to know and hear the heart of the gentleman who is the founder of this program and whose lifestyle we are learning about. But Shibboleth shield just rolls off my tongue easier than Shibboleth shield. So I say Shibboleth in this case. But you're going to follow the Shibboleth shield and the 5 components. I consider these 5 components the daily disciplines that you're just going to put into action every single day. What I love about this is that they are measurable actions. They are tasks that you can do and measure whether or not you accomplished each one of those each day. So you have, after you have 2 perfect days, I'm going to give you a little touch on something that's really, really cool. After 2 perfect days, you get your body into a state called EFB. Those are going to be your 3 favorite letters. EFB stands for efficient fat burning. There's been many times that I have attempted to inefficiently burn fat in my life, but now that I know about efficient fat burning, 50 pounds dropped off my body like that in 5 months. I have now been maintaining that weight loss for a year. So I'm still super, super excited about all of this and love sharing it. I feel like it's the nutrition education that we just never got. So the 5 components of the shield are water, journal, combinations, portions, and timing. So those are those daily disciplines. Those are the things that are going to be what you're going to be putting into your life to create a more awareness around eating and what you are doing with eating. Component number 1 of the shield is water. You need to drink at least half a gallon of water a day. That's 64 ounces. Your goal really is a gallon, so be trying for that gallon. And if you have a job where you have like teachers and things, I used to be a teacher and a principal of a school. Just ask me my strategy on drinking water if you're a teacher, and I'll give that to you, okay? But your goal is really a gallon. And let me tell you, if you are shooting for that gallon, your mind is more mentally satisfied and your body is more physically satisfied, and you're going to be less hungry. So getting this water in not only helps you in that way, it also helps flush out fat and waste. A dehydrated body will not efficiently give up fat or waste, and we need to be doing that. Just to kind of give you an idea, 4 of these just regular water bottles would be your minimum. 8 would be your goal. And a lot of people have these really cool jugs they drink out of and everything. So I personally set a timer when I'm working from home. When I'm working from home, I set my timer for every 30 minutes, and I go and drink a good amount of water every 30 minutes to get that down. It also gets me up out of my seat a little bit too. Component number 2 of the Shibboleth Shield is to journal. We are going to write down everything that we eat. So we've got to journal daily. If you bite it, you write it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. If you drink it, you ink it. And if you hog it, you log it. If you hog it, you log it, okay? So we have to write down what we're eating because it does several things. One, it helps you live a more aware life, and you're going to really appreciate this awareness that you start to live. You're also going to appreciate the recognitions that come from, I'm hungry, but why am I hungry? And then you start filtering your decisions through the shield, and you say, okay, it's 10:30 in the morning, I really want something. And then you start your filter. Filter number 1, have I had my water? No, I hadn't even had one bottle yet. Oh my goodness. Get in there and start chugging that water down. So it's this awareness that you're going to create. But journaling helps us learn the program. It helps us be more aware and live life consciously rather than unconsciously, and mindfully rather than mindlessly. So journaling is very important. Also, when you journal in your My Journal tab in your account, there is a little drop-down menu where you choose what type of day you're having. That once you've done that and you've saved that, it creates an icon on your timing chart. I love my timing chart. I have not missed a day since I've started in filling in my timing chart. The timing chart is a great tool for you to use to make sure that you are doing your absolute best. So it's really important that you journal. Component number 3 of the Shibboleth Shield is combinations. And I want to say, sometimes people go, oh my goodness, I got to combine food. I don't know what's going to go with what. What I want to say about this combinations is you need to eat in a way that controls insulin. These combinations help you do that. And it's not just combining, it's also using recipes. It's also using restaurant guide to make sure you're eating the right thing in a restaurant, or using meal replacements. So there's more than just combinations. We call this one combinations, but you're eating in a way that controls insulin. So insulin controls the fat bus, all right? Now, you've heard me say EFB. Y'all remember that, efficient fat burning. And now you're hearing me say the fat bus. The fat bus is really just a funny way for us to talk about insulin. See, insulin is a hormone. And see, I didn't know much about insulin before I started Shibboleth, but it's a hormone, and it comes out to help regulate blood sugar as we are eating. And it's important. But if it also has fat out when insulin is out, that insulin just acts as a bus and goes and picks up those fat lipids. So that's why we call it the fat bus. But properly combined meals or eating in a way that controls insulin keeps away the fat bus, and we want to do that. See, if you have the fat bus out running around in your body picking up fat, how are we efficiently burning it off? So there's where I want you to make sure that you understand that. Now, this component right here, I'm going to do another slide on it in just a second, but tomorrow night's webinar is all on this component of the shield. So don't miss tomorrow night's, all right? So this is important. Number 4 of the shield is portion control. We all inherently know that if we would like to lose some weight or burn some fat, that we've got to control our portions. And most people think that that's the very most important thing. It is actually very important. But the number 1 way to weight reduction is insulin control. What we do is we combine the two, and we just really have some awesome supercharged results. And the whole shield is really there to give you those results. Travis has done over 20 years worth of study and is continuing to hone this program to make it the absolute best for anybody that we can tell about this program. But portion control is important. Now here's a little bit of information I am going to ask you tomorrow night, okay? How many calories are in a pound of fat? Now, I do know that some of y'all already know this, so I'm going to see if you can answer that. Hey there on Facebook. Hey, Frankie. So let's see who's got fast fingers tonight and can tell me if they already know how many calories are in a pound of fat. Because I don't doubt that some of you watching this already know that bit of information. That's right, Phil. There's 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. So we've got to, Deidre, add 2,000 to that. Okay, 35, or maybe you had a typo. 3,500. So there's 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. So in order to lose 1 pound of fat, we need to get our bodies into a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. So we've got to do that with our portion control, but we also supercharge that with the eating in a way that controls insulin. So we're going to eat properly portioned meals from a 6 to 8 inch plate using the 2-hand rule. And let me talk about this plate. If you're using an 8-inch plate, you're really just using the center part of the plate, not the 2-inch rim, okay? Because you're using your 2 hands. You're going to put your hands together as close as possible, and see how I've moved my fingers completely out of the way? I am going to put my pointer fingers together like that. I'm going to place my hands down over my food. As long as I cannot see my food sticking out around my hands, then I have portion controlled. You just don't want to see any food sticking out around your hands. I love that I carry my measuring tools with me everywhere I go. I have not weighed anything, measured anything, or really even counted any calories in this program. I just want you to know why we do what we do. But if we combine right and use the portion control with our hands, we don't even have to concern ourselves with the calories. Once you get to that spot where you are 5 to 10 pounds from your goal weight, you may have to start paying more attention to the calories, but in the beginning, you don't. So let's just use our combinations and our portion control. Now, we've been over 4. We've been over water, easy peasy. Start that tomorrow. We've been over journaling, again, super easy. Start that tomorrow. We've been over briefly combinations, but we'll give you some ideas to start tomorrow. And we've been over portions. You can start that tomorrow, even if you ate an unapproved combination. You can start that tomorrow, all right? So these 4 of the 5 components must be met in order to say that you have had a perfect day. Number 5, which we're going to go over next, is really for optimizing your results. It's very, very important, but if you don't hit it just quite right, doesn't mean that you haven't had a perfect day, okay? So let's talk about that one. Component number 5 of the shield is timing. Timing is all about us learning not to graze. We are not cows. We do not need to graze all day long. Cows graze, we don't. So you can do on Shibboleth up to 3 meals a day. You need to eat them 4 to 6 hours apart. That's going to give you, 1, practice in not grazing, but 2, it gives your body an opportunity to start the processing of food, digestion. One of the things that we are doing to our body, we are slowing down our metabolism, and we are hurting our metabolism by constantly putting food in. We're never giving our body that break. Machinery in a factory that never gets a break breaks down. Our body is a machine, and if it never gets a break from doing certain things, those things will break down. So we've got to give our body an opportunity to start the digestion process before we put more food on. So make sure that you are eating your meals 4 to 6 hours apart. And that's really all you should eat, 3 meals a day. And you're going to hear Travis say that. You're going to hear him call them eating episodes and everything. But we also know that we've got to make this lifestyle practical and sustainable for people, especially in the beginning when you're first getting started and everything. You can continue and work towards just eating 3 meals a day. You can work towards that. But in the beginning, if you have what we call a moment of mental weakness, because we really could make it from breakfast to lunch and lunch to dinner and then dinner to bedtime. But if you have that moment, I want you to know that we have things that you can use called freebies. Those are unlimited. You could have up to 1 extra in a day, and you can have up to 1 snack in a day. Now, I want you to think about this. If we have 3 meals in a day, freebies, an extra, and a snack, That looks like grazing. Okay, so I would just be really, really picky about my choices. But just know that if you're having that moment, it's better to have an approved freebie, an approved extra, or an approved snack and not give up your perfect day, because there's lots of little delicious things in those areas that you can eat. But what we're trying to do is to stop grazing. So with this one right here, we're just saying that this is, you optimize this, but if you don't hit this one just right, you don't want to go more than 3 meals a day, freebies, an extra, and a snack. That would be over your portions. See, that would be going back to number 4. That would be over your portions, okay? But you can utilize this right here. Now, the next one is, how do I put together a properly combined meal? This is really going back to component number 3 of the shield, which is combinations, eating in a way that controls insulin. So to teach you how to do that, again, I'm going to teach you the terminology. I'm going to teach you the things that you see and you understand. And tomorrow night's whole hour video is on this, but we're going to give you some highlights tonight. You need to know that there are 7 categories of food. And pretty much when we say that, we're talking about whole foods, because we're going to also learn about meal replacements and different things like that that you can use that are really great for weight loss if you pick the right ones. But what we're going to do right now is we're talking about whole foods. So there's 7 categories of food. Each food item made it into its category based on how its nutritional value is and how it responds in your body. So there's 7 of them, and we're going to hit those right now. So when you see, like on this document over here, so you see this 1 here, there's a 1 here, and you see this LP right over here. I'm just looking in the red column. That doesn't mean 1 LP, like the amount. That's category 1, A lean protein. So category 1, the abbreviation is LP, and it stands for lean protein. I'm just going to give you a couple of examples as we go by. Chicken breast, 96% lean ground beef, egg whites. Category 2, or FC, is fibrous carbs. That's where broccoli, green beans, asparagus, things like that are. But we have over 60 approved bread or bread type items in this fibrous carb category that most people find a hallelujah moment. We'll talk more about those tomorrow night. Number 3, or EC, is an energy carb. This is corn, most of your light colored beans, potatoes, all those kinds. Number 4, or PF, is a protein plus fat. Protein plus fat. All of your steak is here, 93 to 95.9% lean ground meat, and whole eggs. Those are all there. Number 5, or FR, is fruit. Fruit. It's also known as, and you may hear it called this, an antioxidant carb. So if you see anything with AC or antioxidant carb, just know that's fruit. And the reason that it's called that is all those beautiful colors and everything are antioxidants. And antioxidants are highly available in fruit. And fruit is good for you. And we're going to talk about why you have to eat fruit differently in weight loss versus maintenance in just a second. Number 6, or SF, is superfood. Now, this is a question I'm going to ask you tomorrow night. A food qualifies to be a superfood if it has all 4 macronutrients in there. Now, if you have studied any nutrition before, you may be thinking, I only know about 3 macronutrients. Why is she saying there's 4? You now live on planet Shibboleth. You are a citizen of planet Shibboleth, and we have the macronutrient and the absolute most important macronutrient of water. So most people don't consider that one a macronutrient, but we do here, and it is extremely important. Guess what? It's a 0-calorie macronutrient. So a superfood has all 4 macronutrients in it. So it's got water in it, it's got protein, carbs, and fat in it. So that's how a food qualifies to be a superfood. I will ask you that tomorrow night. Number 7, or SHF, is shellfish. Now I'm gonna do a little explaining right now. Oh, let me go back and give you some examples for superfood. Your nuts and your seeds are there, your nut butters are there, most of your darker colored beans, just a few examples. Your shellfish, your actual regular just fish isn't a lean protein, it's a lean protein. Shellfish are just those other things that live in the ocean that aren't fish. Maybe octopus, maybe crab, lobster, those shrimp, those type of things. It's really, look right here at this phrase, which is really just a lean protein. So number 7, and this is something I'm going to ask you tomorrow night, number 7 and number 1 are really just the same thing. They're both a lean protein. Number 7 was pulled off because of biblical reasons and medical reasons. Some people don't eat shellfish, and so it got pulled off of category 1 in its own category. So the way I like to look at this is number 1 and number 7, kind of your bookends of the list, are lean proteins. Okay, so those are lean proteins and can be used anytime you can use a lean protein. Something from 1 or 7 could be used. All right. So what I'm going to highlight right now is I'm going to highlight the way that I have trained myself to think about these things, because I've got 2 different ways that I've thought about how to think about these. I think about the foods that must be combined with something else, and then I think about the foods that should not be combined with other categories. So we're going to hit that in just a second. I do want you to know that there are 5. This is important. I want you to write this down. There are 5 of these 7 categories that do not even have to be combined at all. You can eat them all by themselves, and it's a properly combined meal, even though you didn't combine, okay? It's just you can eat it by itself because you're eating in a way that controls insulin. So there's 5 of them that you can eat by themselves. Number 1, lean protein. Number 2, fibrous carbs. Number 4, protein plus fat. Number 6, superfood. And number 7, shellfish. You can eat 5 of those all by themselves. So I skipped 3 and 5. Those are the ones that you do not eat by themselves. Now, I'm going to talk about the energy carbs and then the fruit, and then I'm going to switch over and tell you how fruit changes once you get into maintenance. So I have my mind trained that if I want to eat something that I like that's an energy carb, which is a number category 3, my brain says, ding, 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 you must combine that properly. So how you combine that properly is an energy carb, if you want to eat an energy carb, must be combined with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So that's a must and an and. It must be combined with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So what that might look like is, let's just say I want to have some field peas. Field peas, all your peas are an energy carb. So if I want to eat some field peas, I'm going to eat about 1/4 cup of that. Now, personally, I've never even measured that out. I use my hands as my measuring tools, and my field peas might go on my hands about where my fingers are. But I know I must eat that with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. I'm going to be real simple tonight in my examples. Let's say I'm eating a chicken breast. That's going to be my protein source and take up my hand, my full hand over here. And then I have to have it with a fibrous carb too. So maybe I have some green beans. So I'm going to put my green beans where my palm is. I'm then going to portion control my food. And I will have 3 different flavors on my plate. I have combined this in a way that controls insulin, and it's going to be an excellent fat burning meal. So let me explain what happens. The science behind this blew my mind. As soon as I knew all this, I can hardly even eat wrong things on a holiday unless I'm just having a real hankering. It's really funny. But once you know these things, it's hard to unknow it and do some of those things. So the field peas, they're an energy carb. They're going to bring a little bit more of an insulin release. Actually, every time we eat, a little bit of insulin comes out, but not a lot depending on what we've eaten. But a little bit more comes out due to the nature of an energy carb. But at 1/4 cup, did we overeat field peas? No, we did not overeat field peas at 1/4 of a cup, but still a little bit more insulin came out. And so we want to make sure that we can do something to neutralize that insulin because we want to keep our body in that EFB, efficient fat burning state. So when you combine that with the lean protein and the fibrous carb, the protein in the lean protein and the fiber in the fibrous carb help to neutralize the insulin release from the field peas. It's a science project going on inside your body. It is absolutely awesome. And all you have to do is start figuring out what meals you like to put together. And you've got a lot of worksheets that you can do on our website to help you with that. Okay, now let's talk about fruit, because fruit is also one of those things where I have my mind trained, ding, ding, ding. If I want to eat some fruit, I must combine it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So let's just say I want to have some berries. You can actually do about 1/4 cup of berries. Berries are really the best for weight loss. But let's just say I meant 1/2 cup. Let's say I want a 1/2 cup of berries. I might make myself an egg white, which would be a lean protein, spinach, which would be your fibrous carb, omelet. Then I have my berries. The protein in the egg whites and the fiber in the spinach help to neutralize the insulin release from the berries, okay? So you just have to combine your foods in a way that control insulin. And so you learn the 7 categories, which ones go together. You start writing down your meals that you like, and you can have some delicious meals and control insulin and have great results eating awesome foods. Now, let me tell you the difference between weight loss and maintenance when it comes to fruit. See, weight loss and maintenance are 2 different nutritional situations. When you are in weight loss mode, your nutritional situation is that you are continuing to access and burn stored energy, which is fat, and you want to make sure that you are doing that. So that's that nutritional situation. Once you get into maintenance, you really don't have as much fat to access to burn off. So all you're doing in that is you're maintaining your success. So you can still, and you should, if you're eating a meal, you should still properly combine your fruit. But in addition to properly combining your fruit, if you'd like to have a serving of fruit as a snack by itself, once you get into maintenance, you can do that in maintenance, but you can't do that in weight loss. So just know that if you're one of those fruit lovers, that you can have your fruit, you just need to combine it properly and just lock it in and rip off the knob and get to maintenance as fast as you can, and you can have an extra serving of fruit in a day by itself if you want to. So there is another food category that I've trained my mind to say, okay, if I am eating one of these, I should not eat it with these other categories. Protein plus fat. Now, first of all, let me explain to you this. Protein plus fat, just because it has the word fat in it, that doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing, okay? Fat is actually good for you, natural, good, God-made fats, not the man-made stuff that's killing us. But like if you eat some whole eggs or steak, that natural fat is just going to be used up as energy. Our bodies need fats for certain functions. So no problem. You can even eat a protein plus fat all by itself. So if you like eggs and in the morning you're trying to think what you're going to eat for breakfast, make some scrambled eggs. There you go. And then you can have your first perfect meal in the morning and then continue to figure out what you are doing. So you can eat protein plus fat by itself. That comes in handy for me when I go to a lot of luncheons that I do. Because sometimes I go and I look at the food spread they've got out there and I'm not going to eat that because that's not the day I was planning on having a holiday. They typically have a protein plus fat that I can eat. And I just eat it by itself and I call myself having a properly combined meal. So it's not combined, it's eating in a way that controls insulin. Now I'm going to tell you 3 categories that you do not eat with a protein plus fat. With a protein plus fat, you don't eat your 3s, 5s, or 6s. 3s, 5s, or 6s. So you don't eat your energy carbs, your fruit, or your superfoods with a protein plus fat. See, what's going to happen is if you do, let me give you the classic example of a steak and a baked potato because people eat that a lot. So you have your steak and your baked potato. First of all, the potatoes are usually not reasonably sized, and so large doses of insulin come out to deal with the potato. The insulin comes out to regulate your blood sugar from the potato. But insulin, it's like a dog that has gone outside and it sees a squirrel. So it goes outside for one purpose, maybe to do what it's got to do outside, but it sees a squirrel and starts running off. That is what insulin is like. It comes out to regulate blood sugar, but if you've had that potato with a steak, it's going to go, yay, fat, let me go pick that up. And so it's going to go off and it's going to start collecting that fat. Well, we can still have that steak and a baked potato because there's nothing you can't have on Planet Shibboleth. Absolutely nothing you can't have. It's just which day you choose to have it on. You could have that on a holiday, but you can't have that on a perfect day. You could have it on a holiday. So you just plan those things out. So a steak and a baked potato is a holiday meal. But if you want to eat a steak, pair it with broccoli or green beans or a side salad. See, what happens is when you eat the steak, the fat lipids are still running around in your body, but there wasn't the insulin release from broccoli, green beans, or a side salad to go and collect the fat from the steak. Is this making sense? Don't y'all just love the science behind this? I know I do. I mean, this is exciting news to me. So you just want to be really careful with that. So what I'm saying is, look at this protein plus fat. Remember I said there were eggs there. You don't want to eat whole eggs with your fruit. And I know a lot of people do that for breakfast, but you need to switch over to egg whites if you're wanting to have fruit at breakfast. You could even do a fibrous carb piece of toast as your category 2 if you wanted to with that. And then superfoods, because they have more carbs in them, that's when that create more of an insulin release, then you don't want to eat that with a protein plus fat. So I hope y'all wrote those things down because I am going to ask you tomorrow night. So let's do a little recap here. I haven't talked about this yet, but your category 1, which is lean protein, plus a category 2 cooked in MCT oil, which we're going to go over next maybe, or a category 7 shellfish with a fibrous carb, a category 2, cooked in MCT oil, are your fastest fat-burning combinations. And the addition of the MCT oil makes it the fastest fat-burning combination. We'll talk about why in just a second. If you want to eat a 3 or a 5, which is your energy carb of your fruit, you must eat it with a lean protein, which is a category 1 or category 7, and a fibrous carb, which is a category 2. And then you just don't eat category 4s, protein plus fat, with your energy carbs, your fruit, or your superfoods. And then this is really important because we teach you how to eat at restaurants too. All meat at a restaurant should be considered a category 4. Even if you cooked it at home, it would be a lean protein. When you go to a restaurant, let's just use chicken breast, for example. At home, that'd be a lean protein cooked properly. But when you go to a restaurant, you do not know what oil they cooked it in. So more than likely, they've taken a lean protein, they've added some unapproved for a perfect day oil, and it has to be counted as a protein plus fat, which keeps you safe. Because then at that point, you know not to order any energy carbs, fruit, or superfoods with that. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's talk about MCT oil, or approved cooking oils. So our number 1 approved cooking oil is MCT oil. Now, it has to be 100% MCT oil. I've looked at the back of a lot of MCT oil bottles, and some of them just in the ingredients says coconut oil. No, that is not 100% MCT oils. It needs to say 100% medium chain triglycerides as the ingredients. Now, to do Shibboleth, you don't have to buy anything from Shibboleth, but we do have a store, and what we have in our store is the products that we use on a regular basis and that we like the best. If you are looking to purchase the absolute best MCT oil, then you want to buy the Zero Drag MCT oil. That's the brand name, Zero Drag, and you can order that from the Shibboleth store. Your approved amount on a cooking oil is 1 tablespoon. And another reason that I like our Zero Drag medium chain triglyceride is because it only has 100 calories per tablespoon, where all the other ones that I've looked at have 130 calories per tablespoon. Well, I like to cut calories wherever I can because every calorie that is not spared from your meal it's not spared from your calorie deficit either. So medium chain triglycerides have almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat. In fact, they burn up like that. Now, what we were using probably before this information came to our knowledge is a long chain triglyceride. Canola oil, vegetable oil, olive oil, all those other kind of oils are long chain triglycerides, and they have a great propensity to be stored on the body as fat because they just take a long time to burn up. It's a longer fat lipid, so it takes longer to burn up. So we want to use those fat lipids that burn up very, very quickly because, see, we, as the nutritional situation of weight loss, we want to access, this is key, we want to access and burn stored energy. That stored energy is fat, and that's how we slim down and create the results that we're looking for. So we've got to make sure that we use the right oil, because if we're using a long chain triglyceride, it takes so long to burn up. Even if you walk, unless you're like a marathon runner, which I know I'm not or never was, but you're really not going to burn up all that oil that you eat. So we want to make sure that you use a medium chain triglyceride. And then please know too that in Shibboleth, if you are eating properly combined meals, that you're getting all the nutrition that you need. And that's important because those folks that just go to losing weight, counting calories, they may not be eating the right foods. They may not be getting in the right nutritional value that they need every single day. And their body will burn muscle and ligaments and tendons and a heart mass to get that energy that it needs. But we're getting everything that we need by properly combining foods. But I want you to know that medium chain triglyceride has two effects that are going to be important to you. They have a muscle preserving effect, and they also have a metabolism building effect. And this is important. So on that last slide, I said that MCT oil makes that lean protein and fibrous carb combination, makes that the fastest fat burning, the addition of the MCT oil. That is because MCT oil has a thermogenic effect, which means it burns up quickly. So in that burning up quickly, there's a little heating up response. And when you have that heating up response, it helps burn a few extra calories. Now, you have heard me say lots of great things about MCT oil, but I have to revert to saying we are in the nutritional situation of weight loss. There are a lot of people out there trying to sell you, or companies trying to sell you medium chain triglycerides for other uses. We are not in that nutritional situation. So for example, Tim Tebow talks about MCT oil a lot in whatever he's doing, but he's not in the same nutritional situation that we are, okay? Maybe his body can burn off all these other things, but we use medium chain triglycerides for 3 reasons. To cook in a pot or a pan, to use as the oil replacement in a recipe, and you can make salad dressings with it. Those are the 3 reasons that we use it. How we don't use it is we do not take it as a supplement. So never think that you've got to get it in. You don't. So if you don't use it to cook with, or you're not making a salad dressing and you're not using it to replace oil in a recipe, then you don't need to get it in. We also don't put it in coffee. So I know that I didn't even know what bulletproof coffee was before Shibboleth, but now I do. So we don't make bulletproof coffee with it, and we do not put it in our shakes. So we don't add extra, because it's really just adding random extra calories that we don't need to those products. And those products are like coffee. Coffee is a pre-digested product. There's nothing in there to slow down fat absorption. So we don't need to be doing that in the nutritional situation of weight loss. So MCT oil, good. But you want to make sure that the MCT oil that you purchase says that you can cook with it. So make sure it says that. If it says that it's emulsified, you can't cook with it. So look for those keywords, or just buy the one from our store and you're good to go. And also, you need to be aware that medium chain triglycerides have a very low smoke point. So that means when you're cooking with it on the stove, make sure that you cook on low to medium heat. Otherwise, you'll set off your smoke detector. And that just tells you right there. The fact that I need to tell you that tells you that it burns up quickly. And that's a good thing. We want it to do that, but I also want you to be prepared for that. So cook on low to medium heat. Our second approved cooking oil is coconut oil. Coconut oil is actually 60% MCTs, but it's not 100. Ghee butter, spelled G-H-E-E butter, and the reason I spell that out is because there is a meal replacement called G, just the letter G butter, and I want you to make sure that you know the difference. That's a high protein cashew spread. But ghee butter is a butter. It's just been clarified. Once butter has been clarified, it's 40% MCTs. You can also use hemp oil. I don't know the MCT count on that. And then you can use 0-calorie cooking spray. Now, I had a really great question one night. Somebody asked me, well, why would I choose to use medium chain triglycerides, which have calories in it, versus 0-calorie cooking spray? Well, it's because the medium chain triglyceride does give you that thermogenic effect. It does have that muscle preserving effect and the metabolism building effect, where 0-calorie cooking spray doesn't have those. Now, what I do is this. If I am cooking a lean protein or a fibrous carb and I want to use an oil, then I'll use medium chain triglycerides there. So let's say I'm going to use eggs for an example because it makes a good one. If I'm using egg whites, I'll use a little bit of medium chain triglycerides in my pan. Now, I don't need a full tablespoon for that because I'm just putting it in there for it not to stick. But when I'm doing whole eggs, which already have fat in them, I use 0-calorie cooking spray. There you go. It's that simple. If you're doing a lean protein, use medium chain triglycerides. But if you're doing a protein plus fat, you could do the 0-calorie cooking spray. And you'll also learn other things that you can cook with. A lot of people I heard just cook with water. I'm not a chef, so, but I thought, wow. And then, bouillon and other things like that you can use too. But we think it's important to explain that to you. All right. Now, we've gone over that you need to drink your water, you need to journal, you eat foods in a way that control insulin or combine foods properly, you portion control, and then you space your meals out and you don't go over what the allowed amount is in Shibboleth, okay? We are striving for perfect days. You want to remain in EFB as long as possible for the best results. I mean, I always say EFB, baby, because you're there. You're accessing and burning stored energy, which is fat, when you're in EFB. But we are living a lifestyle. So you don't have to be perfect all the time. And we just call perfect that because in the book of Revelation, the Lord said, I wish that you were hot or cold, but you were lukewarm. Therefore, I spewed you out of my mouth. So we're going to be perfect or we're going to be off plan, having a holiday. But we also don't call it a cheat day. I'll get on to you if you call it a cheat day, because cheating has a negative connotation to it, and we're not cheating. A holiday is just a day where we're eating off plan, and we get back to that the very next day. So we are striving for perfect days, but planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. All you got to know is that after you have that holiday, or just at the beginning of this month, I had 6 holidays in a row because I was on vacation. Just know that after you had a holiday or a string of holidays, you get right back to your perfect days. After 2 perfect days, you get back into EFB. This is why journaling is so important. You want to be able to look at that timing chart, that visual, and see, okay, my holidays are this. I see my 2 green checks as my perfect days after my holidays. On the 3rd perfect day after a holiday, you're going to see a flame, and that means you are in EFB. String as many together as you can, and then planned or unplanned, a holiday's coming. You get right back to your perfect days. This is living the lifestyle. When you're having a holiday, you're not off plan. You're living the lifestyle, okay? You just come right back to the perfect days. This is what makes this lifestyle so awesome and enjoyable. So when we are in EFB, our body is going to burn that stored energy, which is fat. So see, stored energy is we have overeaten by X number of calories, and It didn't get burned, it got stored, and now we just need to access them and burn them. So this whole lifestyle, all 5 components of the shield help you do that. So we want our body to burn stored energy, which is fat, for the energy that it needs, rather than easily accessible unapproved oils or starchy or sugary carbs. Starchy and sugary carbs, when I say that, that means like chips, cookies, those kind of things, you know, and unapproved oils. When you're doing that, your body is going to use that as energy first. You know, human beings usually take the path of least resistance, and our bodies will too. So if it has an easily accessible energy source in it, then it's going to access that first, and you're not going to be accessing that stored energy. But if you eat and do the daily disciplines of Shibboleth, your body has to have energy. It just has to find it in a different way. It's going to go find it in the stored energy, and that's how we become slim and trim. Now let's just recap what the fat bus is. The fat bus is insulin. It is a hormone. It is a growth hormone focused on fat storage. Now it has the job of regulating blood sugar, but if it's also out, when fat is out in your body due to fat lipids from a protein plus fat or some other type of fat that you might have eaten, it's going to store it. It's just going to do that. So after an insulin release, fat storage will occur up to 48 hours, meaning that you are out of efficient fat burning. Also know that insulin increases your appetite. Have you ever had one of those days where you ate, ice cream and it's sweet, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, now I want something salty. So you go get some chips. And you're like, well, now I want something sour. I'm going to go do a dill pickle, which wouldn't hurt you. But I mean, you know how I'm saying. It's because insulin increases your appetite, and we got to make sure that we're aware of that. But the reason that I want you to know this is because the day after you have a holiday, if you feel a little bit more hungry, you just need to tell yourself, it's that insulin. I'm not going to give in to that. I'm going to have an approved item or drink my water and just get over that moment. And that starts to go away. Because typically, once people get into efficient fat burning, they kind of want to stay in that groove, because it is really awesome to stay in that groove. But I just want you to be aware of that. So just as a recap, once the fat bus has been on its rounds, it takes 2 perfect days to get back into EFB. And if you're journaling, you will see those 2 green checks on your timing chart, and that 3rd perfect day after a holiday will be a flame. So now the question is, what am I going to eat this week? I really want you to start making a list of your 7 favorite lean proteins, which are category 1 or category 7. Make a list of your 7 favorite fibrous carbs, which are category 2s. And then literally, if you make a list on one side of your paper and a list on the other side of your paper, you could do just like you were in elementary school and take a pencil and say, I'm going to have some chicken breast with green beans tonight. I'm going to have some 96% lean ground beef with some broccoli tonight. It's that simple. Or in the morning, maybe some egg whites or something like that. So you're going to mix and match those, and then you will continue to learn more ideas. Plus, you have your resources in your welcome kit that you can have a look at. But throw together some category 1 and 2 or 7 and 2 meals cooked up in some MCT. You're going to have some great, excellent fat-burning meals this week. Now, right here, this is one of my favorite things. Throw in a few meal replacements for simplicity. I really don't know people that get up and cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like full out meals like people used to. Typically, we're throwing in some easy things. Maybe you ate Pop-Tarts before. You know, we have a void replacement for Pop-Tarts, so you just find a void replacement for that. Maybe you had muffins in the morning. Use a Mighty Muffin. In the Shibboleth new member fast track group on Facebook, you're going to see what I ate for my first 20 days. It is not a magical meal plan, but the reason I show it to you is I lost 12.5 pounds during that time. I show it to you just to show you the simple things that I ate, but I ate it. I think I counted 30 Mighty Muffins during those 20 days. One, I knew that I liked the taste of a Mighty Muffin. I knew that it kept me full and satisfied, and it was keeping me in EFB while I was learning the lifestyle. So throw in some of those meal replacements for simplicity. And it's also those things you can throw in your bag for the day and have at work or in the car, whatever you do, you can throw something in there. And usually these are things that mimic candy bars, mimic oatmeal protein, well, oatmeal pies. One of my favorite things is the oatmeal protein pie. They mimic those things that we used to eat before, but they're made in a way that control insulin, and that's why they're important for you to find some of those that you like for simplicity. So keep it really, really simple in the beginning, but branch out as you continue to live and learn the lifestyle. Now, tomorrow night's webinar is all on different things that you can put together, so make sure that you don't miss that. Now, Shibboleth, I don't know if you're amazed at the price that it cost to get in, but I know I was. So, I mean, $59.95 for a year or $149.95 for a lifetime is absolutely amazing. The support that you get is going to be just life-changing, because some of my absolute best friends I know now are because of Shibboleth. You're going to develop those relationships with people too. So you want to make sure that you are in the Facebook support groups. Those groups are linked in the Shibboleth New Member Fast Track group, so just go in there and click on there and ask to join those groups. Familiarize yourself with our awesome website. One of the ways that I try to help you do that is every single morning in the Shibboleth New Member Fast Track group on Facebook, there's a little post that comes out at 5:30 every morning. It's going to give you a little assignment for the day. It's very important that you do that assignment, because that assignment is going to take you through the week of learning what you need to learn. But the video, the little YouTube video that's there, is a video of me showing you all the parts and pieces of the website to help you shorten your learning curve on using the website. So please make sure that you are checking that out every day. And please comment that you have seen that, because it helps other people to know, to remind them that they should do it too. We would absolutely love for you to set up a Getting Started mentor appointment. But personally, you can set that appointment up now, but I want you to set the appointment for next week. The reason I say that is if you really hone in and do all of the little assignments in the Fast Track group this week, you will be able to have a more intelligent conversation with your mentor about this lifestyle. And then if there was some part that you didn't understand, you'll be able to ask them about it. But if they're having to spend their whole time just explaining the lifestyle to you, when you can focus in this week, it'd be better to have that conversation next week with them. But I also, when you go into the mentor.genbook.com, I want you to look at all the other types of appointments that you can make, because you can make these appointments as often as you need to. So you can do a Getting Started appointment, you can do a meal planning appointment, you can do a website walkthrough appointment, you can also do a May Day appointment, meaning have you gone over 6 holidays in a calendar month after your initial start month, then you might want to call for a May Day, all right? So, but we have all kinds of appointments on there. And then I want you to focus on the Fast Track, and I would like for you to respond in that. So welcome to the Shibboleth family. I hope that you really enjoyed this lifestyle overview, and I hope that it helped you be able to see kind of the umbrella picture of what we're trying to do. And if you will just start applying those daily disciplines, you're going to see really fast results. If you're getting started tomorrow, I truly believe you can lose 7 pounds in 7 days this week. I really believe you can. And you know what that is? It's really a pant size almost, depending on your size, but I know it was for me. I just talk and talk. I hope y'all are still here with me, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Awesome, Melissa. That is fantastic. Good, and congratulations for starting with us. So I hope y'all enjoyed this evening. Make sure that you have registered for tomorrow night, and don't miss that class, because it's really super important, because that's about it's starting to familiarize you with the foods that are in each category, because that's one of the parts that you want to do. Awesome, Karen. Awesome. Good. You're welcome, Kelly. You're welcome, Daniel. Thank you for joining me tonight. If y'all want to participate in a morning thing that I do for everybody, you can like the Shibboleth public page on Facebook. I go live there each morning, Monday through Friday. And it's just a way for us to say good morning, to help us focus. You're welcome, Angela. Focus what we're doing. I do a little devotion, and we get our day started right. So feel free to like that. And then if you haven't aren't in the Shibboleth New Member Fast Track group, go there now and search in your search bar on Facebook for that, Shibboleth New Member Fast Track, and I'll let you in. This is, Karen, is what recorded? This is recorded for sure, and the Shibby show is what I'm talking about, that little show I do in the morning. It's always recorded, and it ends up in your journal. So if you go into your journal and you click watched, every video in your journal that you click watched, you get points for that, and you'll end up getting $5 here and there to use in the Shibboleth store in person or online just for participating with the website. So I do record the little Shibby shows, and they are put in that the journal. Okay, so Karen asks about what time. So I'm gonna give you a range. They're always in the 7 o'clock hour, unless I have to do it earlier because I might need to go somewhere. Typically, they start around 7:15, 7:30. Now, tomorrow morning, I have got to be at Pine Tree Country Club for the Must Ministries golf tournament. I'm volunteering at that tomorrow. I've got to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. So the Shibby show is going to be extremely early tomorrow. And that doesn't happen often. So typically, they're going to be in the 7:15, 7:30 start range. All right, I'm going to head off. Y'all have a blessed evening, and I hope to see you in the morning, but for sure tomorrow night. Don't miss that one. That's part 2 of our 2-part webinar to help you get started. Love you all. Bye.